A warm welcome to everybody. Myself R. Narendran. I am working as an assistant professor in Erode Sengundar Engineering College in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So today in this session we are going to see about the introduction about software engineering. So before moving on to what is meant by software engineering, we should know about what is meant by engineering in connection with software. So what is meant by engineering? Basically, engineering is an application of science, tools and techniques which are used for providing solution to the real-time problem. Okay? So, next we will move on to what is meant by software engineering. So, the software engineering is a systematic, disciplined and quantifiable approach for providing solution to the real-time problem. So, that solution should be cost-effective. The cost-effective solution plays an important role in the field of software engineering. So, we have an idea about what is meant by engineering, followed by what is meant by software engineering. Now we can move on to what are the characteristics involved in software or developing a software. The first and foremost important characteristics of a software is developed and it can be engineered, but it cannot be manufactured. That is the key point of software engineering. So, development or engineered means the software can be developed only by means of sequence of steps or procedures. So, we are mentioning it as software is developed and it is not manufactured. So, second and very important point is software does not wear out. It means that the software does not wear out due to climatic conditions or environmental changes or any other characteristics caused by external environment. So the third important point is it is custom built. That is, software we are producing should be custom built. The customer gives the requirement details. We are clarifying the details with the customer or the user, and we are producing the output as software and deliver it to the customer. So the software involves the characteristics of custom built. Next we will move on to the topic of SDLC. SDLC means software development life cycle. Okay? So the software development life cycle is a sequence of steps or sequence of processes involved in development of a particular software. So it is the main characteristics of a software development field. Okay? So the basics of software development life cycle involves the following processes. We will see the set of processes involved in development of a software. Okay? So first we are seeing about the first and foremost basic plan, that is called as planning segment. In this planning segment, we will gather information or requirements from the user. We have to process these requirements from the user to get an appropriate format. So next we will move on to design format, design step. In this design step, we will be processing the requirements that are gathered from the user and we will make it as a design plan. So from the design plan, we will have an overall design of a particular software. By using that overall design, we are going to program the set of instructions that are to be provided to the software to get a good processed outcome. So after processing of coding, we will move on to the process of testing. In this process, we will have different types of testing such as unit testing, integration testing, system testing, likewise. So by using the set of testing stages, we will get a processed outcome, that is the outcome which is deliverable to the customer. After processing of testing aspects, we will move on to the implementation phase. In this implementation phase, the overall project will be got by the customer. So that will be delivered to the customer. After processing and delivering of particular goods or project to the customer, we will again move on to planning section, which is an iterative process. So only we are telling that SDLC is a software development life cycle model. So next we will move on to set of life cycle models in the process of development of software. So here are the different kinds of life cycle models we are going to discuss. In this, first model is the waterfall model. It is also called as linear sequential model. So next model is called as V model. V model is otherwise called as verification and validation model. So next one is RAD model, Rapid Application Development Model. The fastest mode of developing a particular software is the Rapid Application Development Model. So next one is Iterative Development Model, and the fifth part is Evolutionary Development Model. And finally, we are going to see about Spiral Model. The Spiral Model was proposed by Boehm. It is the very complex model which are going to handle the different kinds of complex projects. Now we are moving on to the model called Waterfall Model. Basically, the Waterfall Model is the first model which was developed for software development. Okay, so this forms the first position in the software development lifecycle models. So it is also called as linear sequential model. Why we are saying it as linear sequential model means here each and every process involves linear manner. Once the first process is completed, next it will be shifted to the next preceding step. So likewise, it proceeds over the last step of the software project. Okay, so we are mentioning it as linear sequential model. So it was the first model which was developed at the stage of earlier basis. So it is called as classical model. So this model was proposed for only small projects. Whenever the project is very low or the project cost is very low, we will directly move on to the process called waterfall model. Okay. Here is the diagram which clearly shows what are all the aspects involved in development of a project by means of waterfall model. Okay. The first step involves requirement gathering. Here the process involves gathering of information such as users' needs from the customers. So after gathering those informations, we will move on to the design phase. In this design phase, the blueprint and likewise the basic details for design concepts are involved in this phase. After getting the information regarding design part, we will move on to the coding phase. In this coding phase, we will be handling the coding part of the particular project, such as choosing the programming language, choosing the type of programmers for our project, like this. After successfully dealing with this coding phase, we will move on to the testing phase. Here, the testing is performed by the sequence of testers by means of unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, and likewise. After the successful completion of testing process, we will be moving on to implementation phase. In this implementation phase, the software is in the condition of ready to deliver stage. After completion of implementation phase, the final product of the software is successfully accomplished. Okay. Next, we are going to see about the advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model. So the main advantages are the waterfall model is a very simple model. It can be easily processed by anyone. Second part is it can be easily understood by any customers. So third part is it is best suited for simple projects and low budget projects. Okay. The disadvantages involves, as the waterfall model involves the process of sequence of steps for gaining the particular project in a simple manner, it is not suited for complex projects. Also, when the project cost is very low, we will move on to this type of waterfall model techniques. Okay. So far we have seen about waterfall model. In the next session we will be seeing about the set of different kinds of models involved in software development lifecycle. Thank you very much.